Once you see your building this way, you cannot unsee it. Suddenly, if every outlet, like every cabinet, every walkway is either a slow deduction or a fast one. That's what this lesson is about. So you're in module 1, lesson 4, and we're going to look at what actually inside your building, the way a cost tech engineer and a tax pro would look at it. If you are an investor, a landlord, an agent, or a tax pro who work with real estate, this is where the light bulb goes on. Because one, you can see the components, you can start thinking in terms of the 5, 7, or 15 year instead of just one big 27 and a half or 39 years block. Let's connect it to where we already been. In the earlier lesson, we talked about what cost segregation is in plain English, how different property lives work, and how the new rule turns short life property into tax goal with bonus depreciation on qualified assets. Now we're going to make that real. By the end of this video, I want you to be able to see the outside of a property and spot the common plan improvements. Walk inside and mentally tag fast versus slow deductions. Use a simple decorative versus functional versus structural lens to guess which bucket something lives in. And plug all of that into a simple mental framework that works a lot like what cost sec firm actually see when they prepare studies. If you are looking at deal in 2026 and beyond, this is how you start leaving depreciation on the table. Let's start outside the exterior work. So let's say you and I are standing at the curb in front of a property you own or want to buy. It might be a small apartment building or a strip center or an office condo or a short-term rental. We haven't even gone inside yet. We're just looking from the street. As we walk toward the building, here what I want your brain to start doing. You want to start tagging things as probably 15-year land improvement instead of just part of the building. First stop, the parking lot or driveway. Is there asphalt? Is there concrete pavers? Do you see dry lanes, stripping, curbs, or wheel stops? Those pieces are often classic 15-year land improvements. Under modern rules, 15-year property lies in the 20-year or less bucket, which is precisely where bonus depreciation lives. Most owners never think of their parking lot as a separate asset, but on cost sec schedule, it absolutely is. Next, sidewalk and walkway. Behind me, there's a walkway. Look at the path from the parking to entry, the concrete or paver sidewalk, interior courtyard with hardscape path. Again, you usually look at the 15-year land improvement, not part of the 27 half or 39-year building shell. Then fences and walls. Perimeter fencing, decorated walls, retaining walls, gates, entry, monuments. If it's not literally part of the structure building shell, it's often lived in that same 15 years work. Now look at the exterior lighting. Parking lot, pole lights, wall-mounted light that illuminate walkways, landscape lighting system. The fixtures and pole that serve the site are often 15-year land improvement too. The wiring that serves the general interior of building is long life structure, but dedicated site light usually isn't. Finally, landscaping and side feature. Irrigation system, planter walls, hardscape feature, playground, dog run, outdoor sitting area, maybe a pool, maybe tennis court, a little picnic pavilion. Some landscaping is just land. Grass is land, but system and build structure often drop into the 15-year bucket. So as you look at your property in 2026, you want to train your eyes to ask simple questions as you walk from the curb to the front door. Does this look like part of the building structure or part of the site improvement that's sitting around the building? All those site improvements are where a lot of the bonus eligible 15-year bonus property hide. The more you can spot them in real time at acquisition, during a rehab, even when you are pricing a deal, the easier it becomes to estimate how powerful cost sec may be for that property. Now let's step inside. Look at the flooring, cabinet, fixture, and appliances. So let's walk through the front door. We're going to move through a typical unit or office suite and tag what we see with our new what life is its lens. Start with the flooring, like carpet, luxury vinyl plank, and many specialty resilient flooring are often treated as 5-year property. By contrast, more permanent types that part of the structure might end up in the 27.5 or 39-year building bucket. So the question to ask yourself is this something the owner expects to replace every few tenant turn, or is it meant to live as part of the building for decades? Frequent replacement, like tenant finish type flooring, tend to be short life. Hard to change structural type flooring tend to be long life. Next, let's look at interior partitions. Some non-load bearing walls can be moved or removed without touching the structural integrity of the building. Depending on the design and use, they may be treated differently than structural wall. But if a wall is load bearing or part of the skeleton that holds the building up, it's long life building shelf all day. Then you have cabinets, millwork. Think kitchen cabinet, bathroom vanity, built-in desk and shelving, reception desk, bar front, built-in banquettes. When these are not structural and are there to serve a particular use of the space, they are very often 5-year property. A built-in bar with cabinet and counter in a restaurant or a reception millwork package in an office is usually treated as personal property, not structural building. Now, plumbing, fixtures, and specialty plumbing. So basic bathroom fixture required for any buildings like standard toilet and sink for general use, lean structural. But when you see extra plumbing dedicated to a particular function, like multiple hand washing sink in a salon, extra line in a commercial kitchen, or dedicated line for lab equipment, that where the short life story start getting interesting, right? Same idea with electrical lighting. General lighting that wiring and serve the entire building are usually part of the long life structure. But specialty lighting designed for ambient, mood, or highlighting merchandise. Track lighting on display, pendant light over table, decorative chandelier can be treated as personal property. Then we have fixture and equipment. So ceiling fan, removable partition system, certain type of signage, dedicated equipment for a particular trade or business, often living in a 5 or 7 year bucket. And appliances. In residential rental, things like stove, refrigerator, dishwasher, microwave, washer, dryer, classic 5-year property. In short-term rental, you will often layer on extra amenity like espresso machines, wide fridge, specialty small appliances. Those also tend to live in the fast depreciation world. So as you walk your own property, you want your brain to start thinking and tacking and then talking to itself, right? So flooring is probably 5-year, cabinet 5-year, general wall and ceilings maybe structure, parking lot and walk path outside 15-year, patio lighting and furniture, some of that might be 5 or 50 year, but definitely not 27.5, right? That mental tacking habit is exactly what COSAC professionals are doing, just with more details and documentation. Now add one more lens, decorative, functional, and structure. Let's layer in one more simple way to think about it. Decorative versus functional versus structure. So think of your building component fall into 3 buckets. So bucket 1 is structural. This is anything that hold the building up or is necessary for its basic operation for any user. Foundation, beam, load-bearing wall, roof man, plumbing, and electrical, elevator, stairwell. This is almost always 27.5 or 39-year property, so slow and steady. Bucket 2, functional, personal property. These are items that serve specific business function or tenant use but are not essential to the building existing as a building. Restaurant kitchen equipment, salon chair and sinks, specialized lab benches, retail display fixtures, tenant specific electrical for equipment. These tend to live in the 5 or 7-year category and are often bonus eligible. Bucket 3, decorative or finished item. Things that are about look and feel more than bare minimum function. Decorative lighting, fancy trim, one costing, sun wall covering, specialty flooring pattern, side accent walls. Many of these can qualify for shorter life, especially when they are easily replaced, tenant specific or purely for aesthetic. So as you plan project for 2026, ask yourself two simple questions for each component. First, if I remove this, does the building stop being functional as a building? If yes, that pushes it to a structural. Second, if I remove it, does the space just become more boring or less customized, but still completely usable? If yes, that pushes it to a functional or decorative, and often to a shorter life property. Cost studies lean heavily on that distinction. They are not just looking at assets, they are constantly asking, is it here because the building needs it to stand up and be habitable, or because this particular owner or tenant wants it for their operation or branding? Putting numbers to this, a simple classification sketch for you, right? Now let's turn this into a simple mental framework that you can use when you are sizing up a deal. Say you got a project with $1 million depreciable basis. Land is already stripped out. We're just talking about the depreciation portion, the 1 million. For a typical residential rental or small commercial building, a rough planning level breakdown might look like this. Maybe 5 or 15% and 5-year personal property. This bucket will include appliances, some flooring, cabinet, decorated lighting, signage, specialty fixture. For our example, let's say 8%, so 80K. Maybe 5 to 20% and 15-year land improvement, like parking lot, driveway, sidewalk, fences, retaining wall, exterior lighting, sun landscaping feature. So let's say 14% or 140K. And then the rest and long life 27.5 or 39-year building shell, like structure, roof, main plumbing, blah, blah, blah. The building wide system, in an example, that is 79%, which is 780K. So what you look like maybe 5-year 8%, 15-year 14%, long life building 78%. Under the modern business rule that 5-year plus 15-year is 20% of your project, right? So maybe eligible bonus. On the $1 million project, that's about 220K. You might be able to deduct in year one, plus your regular depreciation on the building shell. Now, is it a normal study? No. It's not what you find with the IS. These are just planning level numbers only. Real study, you engineers, you floor plans, you invoices and start inspection to get precise allocation. But if you can think this way, you can compare property A to property B, right? You can decide where to put renovation dollars on things that live in the 5, 7, 15-year bucket rather than only dressing up the long life shell. And decide when a professional cost study or a more detailed template actually makes sense. What cost firms are really doing with your building. So what the cost firm actually do that different from what we are doing here. They are doing the same thing, just in a lot more detail and a lot more documentation. They walk the site inside and out, taking photos, measurement, and take notes. They're gonna review the drawings and invoices, construction plans, contractor bills, change orders. They then tag components, classifying each piece as the 5-year, 7 or 15-year, or the 27.5, 39-year bucket based on tax law, cases, and IS guidance. And they would summarize the dollars and percentage like our simple table, but broken down into dozen or hundred of line items. Your role as the investor or agent, property manager, or tax pro is not to replace the engineer work. Your role is to see the building the way they see it, to understand where the short life asset tends to live, and to use that insight to make better buy, sell, renovate, and refinance decisions before you even order a study or start filling in a spreadsheet. Wrap up and what next? So in this lesson, we did a simple walkthrough of a property in our head and we retrain our eyes. Outside, you learn to look for 15-year land improvement like the parking, sidewalk fences, side lighting, hardscape, and some landscaping feature. Inside, you start attacking floors, cabinets, fixtures, appliances, specialty plumbing, electrical, and slightly short life or long life components. You added the decorative features, functional versus structural lens, so you can quickly ask yourself, is it here for the building or is it here for the specific user? You use a simple classification sketch to look at the 5-year, 15-year, and long life share with rough percentage. So you can have a planning level sense of what the building might give you. And you connected all the data back to what cost sec firm actually do in a full study. Here's your homework. Before next lesson, pick one property. It can be one you already own or one you are seriously considering. On a sheet of paper, make 3 columns. Site improvement, interior component, building shell. Walk through it either in person or from photos and memories and jot down what belongs in each column. Don't worry about perfect lives, just get used to seeing the pieces. In the next lesson, we're going to take this one level deeper. We'll run a full numerical example on the 900K property so you can see how the classification turned into actual dollars amount. You want deduction and real tax saving. If you have ever wondered, okay, but what does this mean in dollar for a real deal? That's where we're going. I'll see you in the next lesson.